Hey guys, last week we talked about anxiety, and this week we're going to talk about ways that we deal with it. So first, let's look at what the Bible has to say about anxiety. Miss Janiece, can you please read Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7?
Sure. Do not worry about anything. Instead, pray to God about everything. Ask Him to help you with the things that you need and thank Him for His help. If you do that, God will give you peace in your minds. That peace is so great that nobody can completely understand it. You will not worry or be afraid because you belong to Christ Jesus.
So right there in Philippians, it is telling us that we're supposed to give our worry and our anxiety to God. But how do we do that?
Good question.
Yeah. So for me, sometimes I'm worrying and I don't even notice it. And I'm filled with anxiety. And the way that I know that this is happening is my stomach gets really tight and maybe I get a knot in my throat or I feel shortness of breath. And so when I feel that, then I can know that I'm having anxiety or worry. So I pause, I take a deep breath and try to release all that tension. I have a tendency to clench my jaw, so when I take that deep inhale, I let go of all that tension in my jaw. You may hold tension in another spot in your body, maybe in your back or your shoulders or your neck. So just inhale and let it go. And then I ask myself, what story am I telling myself? So this would be the thing in my mind that I'm thinking about that I wasn't aware of that's causing me anxiety. So I'm gonna use an example. Let's say that my dog got out of the yard and I cannot find her. And I'm feeling anxiety and I suddenly recognize I'm feeling anxiety. I take that deep breath in and I relax and I ask myself, what story am I telling myself? Well, if my dog is gone and I'm feeling really anxious, I might be telling myself the worst case scenario, that my dog must have got hit by a car or taken by somebody. So then I ask myself, what do I have any truth to this story? Well, if I don't know where my dog is, I can't know for certain that these horrible things have happened to her. So I have no truth to my story. And then I ask myself, okay, worst case scenario, what if my dog got hit by a car and died? That would be awful, but I would get past it and I would be okay because God has me. And I can pray and ask God to help me with this fear and to hold on to what I know. And that's just simply that my dog got out of the yard. So Miss Janiece, what do you do, or what techniques do you use to cope with your anxiety?
I think the biggest thing that I do is I try to look to the past and use evidence where I've been worried or anxious and it worked out, which in most cases, or in all cases pretty much, somehow it always works out. One of the biggest anxieties that I had was with my boys, my sons. They both travel a lot, out of state and out of town. And anytime they were gone in the car, I would get the most horrible feeling. That was pretty easy for me to know it was anxiety. So really, the anxiety, we can't necessarily help when it gets in there, but we can help at how much it grows or whether it goes away. So you have two choices. You can focus on whatever's making you anxious. And that story that Miss Megan was talking about is what you're telling yourself in your head. And that is what will make the anxiety grow. Or what I like to do is really I talk to God and I pray to God and I remind myself about all the times that my boys have driven in their cars and they've been just fine and they've made it home. We can't stress out about what could happen or what bad might happen. We need to focus on the best case scenario story, which is my kids are going to get there safe like they have every time. And if for some reason that isn't the case, then we have to take that step and go from there. But it does us no good to worry about something that has not even happened. which is usually what we're worrying about.
It's interesting how much time we spend worrying about things that aren't even real.
Right. Find out what your indicators are as far as the feelings that you get. Miss Megan talks about her indicators and what feelings she gets that makes her realize that she's anxious. Sometimes for me, when I'm anxious with the kids, it was very evident. But sometimes I just have like a weird, uneasy feeling, and I don't really understand why I'm feeling that way. I know now that that's usually that I'm anxious about something. So I definitely need to take the time to try to figure out what's going on. Give it to God. That's what you have to do. You have to trust that He always gets us through. Life is all about ups and downs and troubles and hard times, but we're gonna be okay.
Yeah. So if you have techniques that you use to identify anxiety and to manage it, share in the comments below.
Yes.
So that we can have a conversation about that.
Yes.
And other people might learn from what you do.
Absolutely. We really enjoy our time here with you guys and how authentic and how much you are willing to share with us. And I don't know if you understand what a huge gift that is that you give when you share, because the person sitting next to you may not feel comfortable talking about it, but they're having the same anxieties you are and they don't know how to deal with it. So when we share, then
we care.
Yes, for sure.
All right, until next time, guys, we love you and we miss you, and we can't wait to be with you again.
Bye.